Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss the capital structure decisions and further its meaning and types in detail. Now let us first understand the basic meaning of capital structure. See, an organization uses various sources of finance, okay, for basically the investment purpose and also the regarding the distribution of dividends and all, okay. So it has a certain percentage of the sources of finance in its structure, okay, like for example 50% equity share capital and 50% debt capital. So capital structure is basically concerned with what percentage a company is having in a particular source, okay. So it includes debt, okay, and also the equity capital. When we talk about debt, it includes debentures, bank loans, bonds, etc. And when we talk about equity capital, it includes preference shares and equity shares, okay. So capital structure is basically concerned with the company's percentage of the sources of finance, okay, that it has obtained from various sources, what percentage it has in a particular source, right? Now when we talk about the various types of capital structure, the first one is the horizontal capital structure. See what happens in this, that the company has zero debt, okay, everything is financed from equity only, okay. It is not investing in any debentures or any bonds or loan, no, it is just financing from equity and preference shares only 100%. Now the second one is vertical capital. In this structure, the company is investing very less in equity share capital. Predominantly, it is financing through the debt part. Okay. Now the third one is pyramid capital structure. Here the portion of equity share capital is and retained earnings. Okay. After a company earns profit, it either distributes or retains something, okay. So here the portion of equity share capital is and in retained earnings is very huge. The company believes firmly in investing in equity share capital because it is less risky and retained earnings also for the future use of the amount, okay. Then inverted pyramid structure is basically concerned with a company having very less investment or the finance raising of finance from equity share capital. It basically it basically invests lot in debt. Its source of finance basically is debt, okay, and it also saves very less amount in the form of retained earnings, okay. Now let us discuss the meaning of optimum capital structure, okay. It is very important if we talk about finance part. See what happens is that a company has invested in various sources, okay, and it has to know at which point its capital structure would be optimum, that is it will be best. So it basically calculates the weighted average cost of capital, that is the combined average cost of every source, okay. Then when it is minimum, the minimum, at that point the value of firm is the maximum, because eventual aim of an organization is to augment the value of the firm. So when we talk about optimum capital structure, this is basically talking about the composite or weighted average cost of capital, that is the rate of interest that we have to pay on various sources of capital like debentures, your share capital, equity share capital and all, and it is the combination or weighted average cost of every source. And when it is minimum, we come to know that the value of the firm is maximum, and here the capital structure is optimum, right? So what did we understand today? We basically understood the meaning of capital structure, right? So capital structure is basically concerned with a company investing or with a company financing through various sources, and it talks about a certain percentage of finance procured from either debt or equity capital. That is, how much do I have in my debt capital and how much do I have in my equity capital. Okay, so we discussed that when we talk about debt capital, it includes debentures, bank loans, bonds, etc. And when we talk about equity capital, it includes the preference shares and equity shares, right? Then we further discuss the various types of capital structure. Okay, the first one is the horizontal capital structure, wherein the company invests only in equity, okay, 100% equity and not at all in debt. Then we discussed about vertical capital structure, which is basically concerned with the company investing in a small equity share capital but more debt. Okay, then finally, then the next one was pyramid capital structure. Here in the company's focus is on retained earnings and the equity share capital, a huge amount is invested in them. Okay, then lastly we discussed about inverted pyramid structure, wherein the amount of investment in equity share capital and retained earnings is very less, whereas it is very huge, very less, and whereas it is very huge in debt. Okay, then we finally discussed about the optimum capital structure. So optimum capital structure is basically concerned with the various sources of finance's rate of interest. Okay, let's say I have invested in share capital or equity share capital. Okay, and my rate of interest, that is the rate which I'm paying to those people, is, let's say, 6%. Okay, so what is this? So when we have invested in various sources of finance, equity share capital, also preference share capital, then dividend, then debentures, okay, bonds and all. So where we have to calculate the combined weighted average cost of capital. Okay, and if the combined average cost of capital is minimum, okay, when it is minimum, we will come to know that our our capital our capital is maximum, that is our rate of interest, our value of the firm, to be precise, is maximum. Okay, so this was all that we talked about today. And finally, let us practice certain important questions which are important from our knowledge point of view also and from our exams point of view also. So the first question is, capital structure does not include A. Equity shares, B. Preference shares, C. Debentures, D. Commercial papers. See, equity share is very much part of capital structure. Okay, we finance through equity shares also. Okay, our source is equity share also. Then preference share is also very much source of capital. Then debentures, yes, very much, it is a long term source of capital structure. Okay, it is part of debt. Then finally, commercial papers, no, it is not at all a part of capital structure, because it is a short term, it is part of working capital management, short term, we can say, financing source. Okay, so the correct answer for this question would be the commercial paper, right? Now let us see the next question. Okay, so optimum capital structure is combined cost of various sources is maximum. Okay, combined cost of various sources is minimum, share capital is maximum, debt is minimum. See, we discussed that optimum capital structure is where the weighted average cost of capital is minimum and thereby the value is maximum. So when we see the first option, combined cost of various sources maximum, we are saying that the cost of capital is maximum, which is not at all with the case of the value of the firm, or we can simply say which is not at all the case of optimum capital structure. Okay, so the next option is combined cost of various sources is minimum. Yes, this is very much, because it has to be minimum, right? It should not be maximum. This is what we discussed. And share capital is maximum. No, it should be combined cost, and that is minimum. No. So the correct answer for this question would be combined cost of various sources is minimum. Okay. So this was all for today. Thank you so much for your time. See you soon. Bye bye. Thank you.